Hello everyone out there, hello Days family, welcome back to our subscribers and greetings to all our new listeners out there. We are back in full swing with another episode of In Between Days where we are going to chat chowder about everything in Salem and now beyond Salem as well. But before we get to the beyond Salem stuff, we're just gonna do a refresher. Before Days of Our Lives returns after a 2-week Olympic hiatus, we're going to have a refresher. I never recorded a summary episode of the final week before the Olympics, and now is the perfect time to get back into things, so that's what we're going to do. And we've got some more news to get to at the bottom of the show, but for now we're just going to jump into things. It'll be a great time. Anybody out there who needs a little bit of a refresher before we jump into the new episodes, once again starting on Monday, August 9th. Anyway, here's what's been happening in Salem. Xander drops the bomb at the celebration for Eric and Nicole that he slept with Nicole, and of course all of this was orchestrated by Sammy, who wanted to destroy the relationship between Eric and Nicole. So there's some fallout from that. Eric punches Xander and leaves. Nicole makes a cryptic remark about Sammy having a similar secret that she is hiding about herself. And later on, when Eric and Nicole catch up with each other at home, Eric decides to go back to Africa, and that's bye-bye for Nicole and Eric. Eric is leaving the show once again, or the actor Greg Vaughn. He only came back for a short while to wrap up that little scenario there. Meanwhile, Paulina's Pricetown scheme was exposed, and she has been trying to make amends, even apologizing to Julie in person. But what will she do? Will she save the square, or will she build her own version of Walmart in Salem? She tells Abe and Lonnie that she's going to stop the plans, but can anyone actually believe her? You could not blame Abe or Lonnie or any of the other residents of Salem for not trusting Paulina after her recent actions, where she basically passed through these awful plans to completely destroy the square and used Mayor Abe Carver to get her devious plot to go through there, much to the surprise of everyone. And if you remember, the plaque of Tom and Alice was removed from the square, and the whole centerpiece of Salem was about to be demolished. But apparently, according to Paulina, she is going to have those plans stopped. She has realized the errors of her ways and wishes to make amends, and that's what she has set out to do. Abe seems to want to hear her out and believe that that's sincerely what she wants, but Lonnie does not seem as willing or as able right now to just trust Paulina and everything that she is claiming that she will do. Elsewhere in Salem, Chanel and Allie share another kiss, but ultimately what happens is Allie ends up choosing Tripp as who she wants to be with. I cannot help but wonder if the writers have been going over episodes of the Degrassi franchise, where things like this are a lot more regular. But yeah, we did recently see, I think, our first two female kiss on Days of Our Lives, for whatever it's worth, and we will get a little bit more into that in a moment or two. Paulina, in the meantime, has told her daughter Chanel that there will in fact be room for her bakery in the new plans. So one of the things that Paulina really messed up when she was trying to put the Pricetown scheme into effect is that it affected her own daughter, who had plans to open a bakery in Horton Town Square. So apparently that is going to be able to happen. So we may get sweet bits after all. The interesting thing here is Paulina wanted Chanel to kind of do something to sustain herself and kind of break out into the world on her own and not just be supported by her mother's money and all of that. But in the end, it seems like Paulina is setting it all up so that her daughter will in fact be able to have a bakery in the square. So we'll see if there's a lesson there or not in the end. Sierra, meanwhile, I've been saying meanwhile a lot. Meanwhile in Salem over here, meanwhile in Salem over there. Sierra is to marry Theo on her anniversary to Ben. Her anniversary wedding date to Ben. She's set to marry Theo on the very same day. And a skeptical Allie is asked to be the maid of honor. She reluctantly, you might say, agrees. And of course, very few family members are going to be able to attend for one reason or another. I can't remember the whole long list, but I think Belle is unable to make it. Doug is unable to make it. Not sure if Julie was going to be at this wedding or not, but we'll find out. We'll find out this week. Days of Our Lives is returning, but the whole thing is there's going to be some shenanigans. No pun intended, because there was an old venue on Days of Our Lives called Shenanigans, but there's going to be some actual shenanigans when it comes to the wedding of Theo and Sierra. It's funny even saying that, but we'll get into that in just a moment. We're going to move over to Philip. Philip gets Lucas to use Nicole, basically, to drop the letter onto EJ. So basically what's happened is Sammy has busted up the relationship between Nicole and Eric, and now Nicole is obviously going to want revenge, and Philip encourages Lucas to provide that letter that Kristen wrote that he has in his possession. They want to give it over to Nicole so she can drop that news onto EJ, and that is in fact exactly what happens. EJ is beyond furious, angry when he reads the letter himself, but he pretends all is well when it comes to his interactions with Sammy after he's read the letter and knows the truth. He is trying to get his sister Kristen's contact information. That's one thing he wants to do. But instead of just confronting Sammy right away, he seems like he is going to play a bit of a serious game of chess. Very Demira-like. And now we are going back to the wedding shenanigans. Ben gets Claire and Allie to go along with his plan to stop the wedding between Theo and Sierra. Sierra, who somehow managed to get divorced and get a marriage license all in a very short amount of time, while she flew from where she was with Theo back to Salem. I don't know, very determined in her loss of memory-like state to move on with her new life with Theo. She's been acting very strange lately, so that's what happens. There's shenanigans coming up that are, if you've, I don't want to super spoil anything, but it's basically going to be along the lines of the Bo, Hope, Larry situation, where Hope was supposed to marry Larry, I believe, and Bo came and broke up that wedding just in the nick of time. So at the end of days, for the week before the Olympic hiatus, Sierra gets into a limousine and she says to the driver, this isn't the way, like, what's going on here? And Sierra says this is not the way to the church, and we see that the limo driver is actually Ben, and he says that they're not going to the church. And Well, we all know that Ben's ultimate plan is to take Sierra back to the cabin and see if she will in fact remember their history together and get her memory back, and if she does, then all will be saved and all will be well. Will it be Claire that's actually under the wedding dress in the church as the decoy? Only time will tell. That's what it seems like. And that's about it. That's our refresher. That's basically what's been going on in Salem, and of course there's more storylines going on than that, but that's basically the meat of what's been going on, and we're gonna find out how all of that and some of the other storylines evolve and continue when we resume on Monday, August the 9th. Days of Our Lives will return to NBC and Global here in Canada, and there has also been some other news which we will briefly touch upon now. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Beyond Salem is a Peacock only, unfortunately, so as far as Canada goes, I do not know if we will have access to this special spin-off series, but this is great news. First Days of Our Lives was renewed for 2 more seasons, and that was some happy news for Days of Our Lives fanatics, but now we also know that Peacock has ordered a special, I think it is 5-episode mini-series based on the characters of Salem to be called Beyond Salem, and that's going to be cool. Hopefully I can find a way to watch it without going to jail for trying to watch it. I hope they make it available to Canadians, but we'll have to see. I can tell you that the original Kristen DiMera, played by Eileen Davidson will be in this special Beyond Salem. Of course, on Days of Our Lives, the character of Kristen has recently left, so she'll be played this time by the original actress Eileen Davidson in this miniseries. We also get Tony and or Andre DiMera, who will be played by Teo Pengelis, and Leanne Huntley, who plays Anna DiMera, will also be in this miniseries. Apparently, we're going to see Carrie, played by Christy Clark. That's somebody who we do not see on the regular on the main show. Greg Riart, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his name, but amazingly enough, for better or for worse, Leo Stark, the character of Leo Stark, will be appearing in the Beyond Salem miniseries. Chandler Massey is back as Will Horton for the miniseries as well. We get Lisa Rinna, who is the original Billy Reed. She is not on the main show, but we're going to be seeing her on this miniseries, much like some of these other characters that I mentioned. And some main characters, some main front burner characters from the main show that will also be on the miniseries, or in the miniseries, apparently, include Deidre Hall and Drake Hogeston, who are, of course, Marlena and John. Jackie Harry, who plays Paulina Price on Days of Our Lives now, and of course you know her from 227. She will be appearing in the show, as will James Reynolds, who plays Abe Carver, and Austin Peck, who was the second Austin Reed on Days of Our Lives. He will be in this small mini-series, which makes sense, seeing as we're going to be seeing some of Carrie. There's also some other news that Chandler Massey may be back to Days of Our Lives on the main show. I cannot confirm or deny that, but there is a spreading rumor going on that Will Horton will return to the main show in the form of Chandler Massey will be playing him again. There's a little bit of a rumor going on that Isabelle Durant, who is the current Claire, who I'm quite a fan of, might be leaving the show. And there's this last thing to get to, that some actor, a soap actor by the name of Zach Tinker, I haven't looked into him much, if at all, to be honest with you, but he is rumored to be the new Sonny. We do know that the actor that played Sonny all these years, Sonny Kyriakis, the actor that played him, Freddie Smith, said he has moved. I think it was I think it might have been to LA, but he's moved physically, geographically, and said he would not be interested in coming back to the show again, full-time or even part-time, for this, at least not anytime soon for any duration. So it does seem like they may have casted a new Sonny, which I find a little bit silly, because there are 3 other brothers that Justin and Adrian had. They had 4 sons, and Jackson Kyriakis, aka Sonny, was one of their sons. So he is now off canvas. So I would say, rather than recast Sonny as have him played by another actor, rather than do that, which has been pretty much played out, why don't we get to see some or all of these other Kyriakis brothers and what they've been up to all these years? Why have they never come back to Salem? Because the way I see it, instead of inventing these characters who never really existed, as they often do, just the long-lost son or daughter of this one, that one, let's see some actual characters that existed anyways. So it would be interesting to see Sonny's 3 brothers that have never been on screen in their adult lives. It's better than when they invent these characters that really never existed, like Summer, for example, Maggie's daughter Summer, and Maggie's son, for that matter, Daniel. Those weren't really characters that ever actually existed. They were just written in later to, come through strange means, and it rarely makes great sense, but it's okay, it's a soap. I'm not going to get that serious about it. But all I'm saying is, wouldn't it be interesting to see maybe Melissa again, or Noelle? Why invent a Daniel and a Summer when you've actually got these legacy characters that you can bring on to the show? So maybe we'll talk about that next time. We're going to wrap things up this time, but maybe towards the end of the next episode, when we talk about Days of Our Lives, we can talk about who would we like to see return, or who that has never been on the show, in the form of who in their adulthood has never been on screen that we maybe would like to see, or who else would we like to see return, like maybe a Dr. Mike Horton, maybe an Andrew Donovan all grown up. And oh, by the way, I will leave you with this final reminder that Johnny DeMira is going to debut. I'm not sure exactly when, but I would think within the next week or 2, when Days of Our Lives returns from the Olympic break. I think we're going to see Johnny DeMira. That will be interesting. Will we see Sydney DeMira somewhere down the line? That'll be interesting, especially when she interacts with certain characters, like Nicole, for example, who kidnapped her when she was a child. I can see the drama unfolding, so next time maybe we'll talk about some of that. We'll get into more of the comings and goings, and we'll definitely discuss any news that comes out in regards to Beyond Salem, which is for now exclusively on Peacock, so you need Peacock to watch Beyond Salem. But as far as the main show, Days of Our Lives, is concerned, Monday, August the 9th, Days of Our Lives returns, so be there in Horton Town Square. See you next time.